Chapter 14. Nurturer. Serena didn't wake up on her own this morning like she usually does. I found her in her bed with a runny nose and bright pink cheeks. "Oh, sweetie, you stay here. I'll get you a drink and a cool face cloth for your head." Downstairs in the kitchen, I dialed Ronnie, who had already gone to work. "Serena's sick. She feels hot, too. I'm pretty sure she's got a fever, although I haven't checked yet." "Are you bringing her to Vilma's?" "I can't bring her there if she's sick. Vilma's got 5 other kids she has to keep healthy." "But he knows that already." "You're going to have to come home and stay with her while I go to court." "What are you talking about? I can't just take off work." "I'll be as quick as I can, probably an hour or 2. "I have shit to do. You'll have to call out," he said, matter-of-factly. "Ronnie, I can't call out. My client is in jail, and if I don't show up, he'll have to stay there even longer. Wilson is an addict, like me, who's only stuck behind bars because he can't make the $200 cash bail." "I don't know what to tell you," he said. "Check her temperature. Maybe she doesn't have a fever and you can bring her to Vilma's." There was no point in arguing with him. He's stubborn, especially when it comes to his routine. He's always been that way. But despite his unwillingness to change, everything else has. We have so many more responsibilities than we did 6 years ago, when Alita, Jack, and I first moved into Ronnie's house. Back then, the 4 of us quickly eased into a groove. Ronnie managed his asbestos removal crew, while I handled the bulk of my old friend Peter's bankruptcy practice at home. Alita and Jack, although still young at 10 and 13, were self-sufficient in many ways. They could get themselves ready for school and find snacks on their own when they got home. We'd order out for dinner most nights, since neither Ronnie nor I liked to cook, and share in the cleanup. Now, though Alita is living with her father, Jack is still with us and in high school, and we have Serena. And as much as I love being in our new house, my forever home, it's a lot. I'm afraid that if Ronnie won't bend, I'll break. "Thanks for your help," I said calmly, despite the lump in my throat and heat in my face. I hoped he would hear the frustration in my voice that lay beneath the sarcasm and tell me he was on his way home, but there was only silence. I closed my eyes and bit the inside of my cheek. If I had time to waste, I would have sat down on one of the high stools tucked against the counter and cried. I put the phone down, filled a cup with water for Serena, and looked toward the screen again. As hard as I wished he'd call back, my phone stayed dark. It isn't fair, I told myself on the way back up the stairs, carrying supplies. But as my mother used to say, life isn't fair. Nobody was coming to help. As it turned out, Serena didn't have a fever. I was able to drop her off at daycare and get to court just a few minutes late. She felt better when I picked her up. Now, she's playing in her room, and I'm sitting at my desk on the second-floor foyer, marking off each bill I've paid so far this month. I recently inherited this new bill-paying responsibility. I didn't want the job, but Ronnie wasn't doing it right. The task shift happened last month after I opened the Home Depot bill marked past due. That one was supposed to be his responsibility. When I confronted him about it, he said he'd only paid what he could afford, not the full minimum payment. I tried to explain that partial payments still count as late and hurt our credit, but that didn't change his mind. Instead, he said, "Fine, if you think you can do a better job, you pay the bills." So I took it over. I created an Excel spreadsheet for our 27 monthly expenses. Each week, Ronnie deposits a set amount into our joint house account, and I make sure the bills are paid in full and on time. If I need to pay more than my share, that's what I do. Looking at the spreadsheet makes my heart beat fast and my breathing shallow. An unavoidable stress response, I suppose. It's also the end of the month, which means a whole new set of bills will come due soon, making my anxiety even worse. This is not how I pictured my life. Lately, Ronnie's only been adding to my stress. I'm glad he's already gone to his meeting. I've been feeling angrier by the day, and those are the kind of feelings that make me wish for relief. I sit back in my chair and suck in enough air to fill my lungs. I hold it for as long as I can while reminding myself of the saying, "A grateful heart will never drink," or, in my case, get high. That certainly wouldn't help the situation. As I exhale, I hear Ronnie's voice cut through the quiet. "You killed him! You killed my fucking dog!" It's coming from outside. I jump up, and as I start down the stairs, the door swings open. Ronnie rushes inside. "Rocco's dead. He killed him." He's still standing in the doorway, his eyes wild, as he points outside. When I reach him, I can see a small white car that's idling in the street in front of our house. "What do you mean? What's happening?" I keep my voice low, hoping Serena, who is still upstairs in her room, is too occupied to hear the commotion. A second later, Serena appears on the stairs. She stands motionless, waiting for him to say more. I'm sure she's as surprised as I am. Neither of us has ever heard her father sound this way. Ronnie doesn't acknowledge Serena as he walks into the kitchen, where he stands for a moment, then paces back toward the foyer. "What happened?" I ask again. Rocco can't be dead. He left the house less than 20 minutes ago, and Ronnie has a tendency to exaggerate. "That asshole hit him," he yells. His voice cracks. "He came speeding around the fucking corner." "Who?" I ask. But he's already walking toward the door. "I'll be right back, sweetie," I say as I follow him out, carefully closing the door behind me so Serena won't join us. I stay close behind Ronnie as he walks in the direction of his truck, which is haphazardly parked alongside the stone wall that marks our property line. I'm fast on his heels, my bare feet slapping against the asphalt. The white car is still pulled to the side of the road like it's waiting for somebody to come out, but it's facing the wrong direction. The headlights are on, and although they cut through the darkness, I can't see Rocco or any evidence that he's been hit. "You killed my dog! I can't fucking believe you did this!" Ronnie yells again at a young kid standing next to the car's rear bumper. He looks like a high schooler. "It's not my fault. He came running out into the street. I didn't have time to stop." I hear the front door open and turn to see Serena's silhouette in the sliver of light from the doorway. Worried she'll come outside, I run back to the house. When I close the door, she looks up at me, her eyes filled with worry. "Why's Daddy yelling?" She waits for an answer. Something happened. "Is Rocco dead?" It seems unnatural to hear the harsh, blunt sound of the word come from her lips. At 4, I know she's only parroting her father, that she doesn't know what it means to be dead, but her curiosity requires me to say something. "I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. Why don't you go upstairs and play, and I'll be up soon." She does as I say, but I can see that she's confused. I'll need to tell her something soon. I'm in the dining room when Ronnie opens the door a few minutes later. "I have to go bring him to the vet's," he says as he charges into the room. "Oh, okay. Do you think he's going to be all right?" I asked, pulling out a dining room chair. "No, he's not going to be all right. He's dead. I put him in the back of my truck," he says, sounding angry. If I didn't know him so well, I'd think he was being sarcastic. Words escape me. I'm terrible at expressing sympathy. All I can think to do is offer Ronnie a hug, but since he's not ready to be consoled, the embrace is quick and awkward. When he leaves, the house is quiet again. I sit at the table and wonder what to do next. Rocco is gone. Of course, it was only a matter of time since there was no barrier to keep him out of the street. Part of me feels relieved that I won't have to worry about him anymore, and that makes me feel even worse. I want to cry, but I hear Serena on the stairs. A moment later, she's standing in front of me, our eyes at the same level. Where's Rocco? She asks. Daddy is bringing him to the doctor. Why? He ran into the street and was hit by a car. Will the doctor make him better? I don't think so, honey. We probably won't be able to see him again. I'm not sure how much of what's happening she can understand, although she's always seemed wise beyond her years. She looks at me intently, her blue-green eyes big and searching. Why can't I see him? She can't remember a time when he didn't live with us. I think he's going to heaven. She looks away, the tip of her pinky touching her top lip like Dr. Evil in Austin Powers, a self-soothing habit she's had her whole life. I'm hungry, she says. I'm glad she doesn't ask me anything else. Although I've been dealing with loss and death my whole life, nobody ever explained it to me. I have no idea how to explain it to her. I guess that means I'm about as good at nurturing as I am at sympathy, but I can only do my best. I reach for her, and she wraps her arms around my neck. I'll make you some pizza rolls.